Hey guys, this is John and Mitch with CGCB Podcast. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We are in Mitchell's studio, or what we can call a studio at least.
That's gonna have to work for now.
Yeah, it was actually more convenient because I was actually in town and Mitchell lives in town. So I might as well just stop by and we do it in person. So Mitchell has brought a subject today that he's been pretty into and he wants to talk about a lot. So I'm going to turn it over to Mitchell, and he's going to lead this one. And I'm just going to be here to comment and talk shit, probably.
Basically.
Yeah, basically. So I'm going to turn it over to Mitchell. Go ahead, bud.
All right. So with all this talk of what's the next big thing after the AR that's been happening for the last couple of years, the Army actually put out a tender for submissions for what they're calling the next generation squad weapon, and they're looking to replace both the M4 M16 series and the 249s in service. And so far they've narrowed it down to 3 different submissions, which actually this is not the tab for that. That is, nope. Oh, let me find tab. Oh, there it is. I just scrolled down. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got 3. We've got a submission from SIG, one from General Dynamics, and one from Textron. And so, let me get situated. So, next month in October, they're looking at down selecting, I believe it's down to the final submission. All 3 of these are actually being tested with Rangers and Green Berets and all of them, as well as other SOCOM affiliated regiments, or I'm not entirely sure how the breakdown is on that. But anyways, so I'll just give you a quick rundown of the 3 companies that have submissions. So the first, we're going left to right. So your first is going to be SIG. So they've got what they're calling their MCX Spear. So if you don't know, they make a rifle called the MCX Virtus, which is a 5.56 rifle. It's gas piston driven. It's AR controls, basic AR internals, but it ends right at the end of the lower receiver, and you can have like a folding stock, or they even came out with a stock that you can use while in riot gear with your face shield and everything. And then they also have what they're calling their MG68, which is it can be belt fed or mag fed, quick change barrel. Basically all the accoutrement that you would expect with a support weapon. So you got your bipod, all that good stuff. The other thing is all of the submissions must come with suppressors, because that's the thing that they're wanting to go with now, is all the weapons being suppressed. And then the SIG submissions using the 277 Fury, which is what SIG is calling it. It's a bimetal case, so you have a steel case head pushed into or pressed into a brass case. And they've actually already brought that to the commercial market with their rifle, which is with their cross rifle, which is a bolt action, supposed to be a lightweight hunting / competition gun. It looks good. Hadn't got our hands on one yet. Trying to, but we'll get there. And then the next company is General Dynamics. For those that don't know anything about them, they have a huge amount of DoD contracts. They do armored vehicles, they do land systems, air systems. They do basically everything. But their submission is the OTS. As you can see on their screen in the center, they have 2 variants. You have the rifle variant at the top, and then their automatic rifle version at the bottom. So it's mag fed only. But the only difference I can tell from them is one's got a longer, heavier barrel and a bipod off the front. But other than that, I don't really see much of a difference between the 2. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work compared to their other contenders, which are both belt fed. But anyways, but the General Dynamics submission, I don't think is going to make it through the next phase, but we'll see. But they're using a I can't remember what they call it. I think it's like it's similar to the Textron, but it's their own development of a polymer cased telescoped round. I don't have a picture of it right off to show you. But anyways, that's what they're using with that one. The next one's the Textron. These guys, if I remember correctly, are the ones who did the LSAT machine gun that was in all of the video games way back when. They're teamed up with H&K and Winchester, who is producing the ammo, which is a different variation on the polymer case telescope round. Theirs has a funky operating system. Instead of ejecting like a traditional rifle like the other two submissions do, it actually brings it out, drops it down, pushes it out that little space in the front, or that little, I don't know what you want to call it, but it's like an extrusion out from the mag well. It pushes it out there instead of out the side. Seems quite a bit more complex than the other submissions. And the other thing it's got going, which I think all of these are going to be required to have if they don't have it already, is a powered rail system. So the rail would provide power to your accessories, so your IR lasers, your optics, lights, etc. Those would all be powered through the rail. Their MG submission, I don't know a whole lot about it. Not a whole lot's been shown off about it. But I expect it to have the same kind of stuff that the SIG submission has, quick change barrel, belt fed. I don't think it's got a mag fed option, but it's gonna have the same powered rail system and all that good stuff. And sorry if I keep looking over the. We didn't realize the cat got locked in here with us, and he's just kind of bouncing around. Yeah. And they've got their suppressors. Theirs are made by LMT. Last I checked, and I believe General Dynamics and SIG both are using in-house designed and built suppressors. And another thing that is coming along with this is they're looking at a new optic system to mount to the weapons, which you can see both submissions that were down selected here. So you've got one from Vortex, which is completely built in-house by them. It's a 1 to 8 power with what they're calling an active reticle. So that big bulge that you see on top is a laser rangefinder and a fire control computer. So you'd be able to range out. It's supposed to be able to reach or laser targets out to 1 kilometer, and it will automatically adjust your sights in the optic to compensate for. I don't know if it's just for range or if it'll also compensate for weather as well. And the L3 Harris is a combined effort between L3 and Leupold, and theirs is essentially going to be doing the same thing. It just depends on which company Big Army decides to go with. So I've got a couple other tabs here pulled up to give you a better view of some of these. So this was just this was an article on military.com. Basically, it's another picture of the Textron submission, which this right here is that long bulge I was talking about where the case is ejected from. And that's some picture they got here. But basically, they're saying that the firepower that they're getting with these rifles, SOCOM units are really enjoying it over the current 5.56 platform like this thing here. Granted, this one's been longer than the current infantry rifle, but it's doing better in trials. And I do want to address this. Like, a lot of people say that we can just upgrade the 5.56 like they did with M855A1. However, if you look at what the military terms as near-peer threats, which would be like Russia, China, European militaries, so on and so forth, most of their frontline troops are going to be equipped with body armor similar to what we're running. And so facing an enemy like that, 5.56 really is not going to be able to cut it. So that, and what we've learned in places like Iraq and Afghanistan, a M4 rifle 14.5 or the red dot, at the engagement ranges that you're going to be engaging in those type of theaters, the 5.56 kind of underperforms. Now the Mark 12 did really well over there with the Mark 2.62 ammo, but what we saw going into that was we started seeing the marksmen opting for heavier rounds like the 110s and bolt guns, and a lot of times, especially when you're up in the mountains, your engagement range can range anywhere from 400 to well over a kilometer, and 5.56 can't do that. Now, granted, urban terrain, that's where the M4 shines, but that's one of the reasons that they're looking at change or upping the caliber now. But they're also able to make it lighter than contemporary cartridges of the same weight. This is a press release from SIG. So this is when they were down selected initially. This is another view of the Spear and the MG68. TFB, I believe it was, did a great video where they actually got to go out and shoot these, and they look really, really well received for firing. But I haven't seen groups or anything like that. But I imagine with modern manufacturing techniques and materials, it wouldn't be hard to make the rifles shoot about a minute with combat loads. But we'll see. Next, we'll be looking at the Textron again. So this one is from SHOT Show this year. So you have basically the rifle. Now all of them are using M-Lock. No key mod, no quad rails like we saw on the M4. They're all using key mod now. Which, if you look at the new SOCOM URGIs, you'll see that they went with the Geyser rail with M-Lock, which seems to be, even the new Mark 22 Barrett that the snipers are going with use M-Lock. Everybody's moving to that now. This one, like you can see the LMT markings for the suppressor here. And yeah, this is that polymer case stuff that the Textron submission will be using. That's made by Winchester. As you can see the bullets, the projectiles buried down in here. And this is completely polymer, so it's going to make it a lot lighter, but we'll see how it does in temperature variations and overall, like outdoors or combat environments, and how the environment plays on that. Here's another one of the General Dynamics submission. This is the automatic rifle variant. They have a Steiner on this one. Steiners are really good optics. Couldn't recommend them enough. And then there's the rifle, which they got a weird can design, but if it works, it works. But we'll see when they announce the next down selection. And then this one here is on the Vortex. A bit better look at the optic that Vortex has submitted. And as you can see, like, it's not really much bigger than your average LPVO on this Scar H right here. So, I mean, and with all the lightning, because I doubt it weighs more than maybe, say probably about 30, 35 ounces, which is heavy for an optic, but with everything it has in it, it's not that bad. So, yeah, I'm kind of excited to see where this goes. As far as which one I think is going to get selected, I think it's going to come down to either General Dynamics or SIG. And the reason being is because both of those companies have, because the Army's also looking to replace the 240s, and I believe the M2s as well. And both of those companies also have a 338 Norma Mag belt fed. And the reason they're doing Norma Mag, well, General Dynamics has been experimenting with that for the last like 10 years or so, but the military recently adopted the Mark 22, which is 308, 301 Mag, and 338 Norma to replace the 50 BMG. So if you can narrow it down to .338 being your your medium machine gun and your sniper caliber, as well as the 6.8 being your support weapon and infantry caliber. That knocks out 50 cal and 308 and 5.56. So now we're going from 3 different calibers in service to 2. But Textron, I don't think has a submission like that. But I do know SIG also has their new line of optics. They also have their own optic with fire control, with built-in fire control system for the MG 338 that they've got too. But that's pretty much all I've got. I just wanted to bring this to everybody's attention. I thought it'd be a good topic to talk about. So,
Well, I want to put in a bit of insight because most people know I did do a brief stint in the Army, and when I was in the Army, I did do some equipment testing for the Army. Some I can talk about, some I can't, only because there's a certain window that stuff stays secret, top secret, what have you. And I would kind of not care about talking about it, but then again, you know, I basically said I wouldn't talk about it until after a certain time frame. So after that time frame, which I believe is next year, I will, you know, talk about it because this stuff is cool. But like I said, I have done Army testing for new stuff coming to the Army. I have worked with, what is it? There's a variant of that SIG belt-fed machine gun that I worked with back in the day. It was a 308 caliber or 7.62. It was a really cool machine gun. We didn't get to fire it. We just got to manipulate it, play with it. Super light. It weighed as much as a saw or less. The M249 saw, which I was a saw gunner at the time, so therefore they had me trying it out. But if it was my thought on what the Army would pick, I honestly believe that they're going to go with SIG, only because the rifle is so close to the M4 that there won't be a whole lot of up training for infantry soldiers and special forces soldiers, and then the machine gun is pretty close as well. General Dynamics, they just come out of fucking left field with their crazy bullpup design. The Army's not going to fucking buy that. Just because I through the testing I've done, I've seen what they buy and what they don't buy, and that's definitely not it. And for Textron, I could see where the Army would be interested in that, but the one thing that bothers me is the ejection system on the bottom. I could see where that can kind of become an issue because of shooting at different angles, or that hole getting clogged because of you come up to a barrier and you press it against the barrier and you're using that spot. Well, the ammo's not going to be able to get out if you're like rammed up against it. Granted, I haven't seen this weapon, so
well, it's not going to be like come out the front of that. It's coming out and coming out the right hand side of it.
Okay, so
it's got the ejection port still on the side. It's just going to come out. Like there was a somebody did a like animation of how it worked, and so it brings it out, and then I'm trying to remember how it went. So it brings it out, and then the bolt kind of pushes the new cartridge in the feeding position and pushes the other case out and down, and it just kind of pushes and falls out the right hand side. So it's either that or because no one's actually seen the inside of it, at least nothing out in the open that I've seen. But it's either that or that's like a battery compartment for the powered rail, which would make more sense because you're going to be putting your hand there. Mm-hmm. It makes no sense to put an injection point. But another thing I wanted to bring up that you kind of reminded me of is that, yeah, the SIG's going to take less training for the troops, the end user, but it's also going to take less training for your armorers. Mm-hmm. And that's something that a lot of people don't think about, because you got to, if you introduce a completely new weapon, now you have to retrain all your armors and how to upkeep it. It's going to take a while for them to start learning all the idiosyncrasies and the issues that they have to work through with them, because everything's going to have issues. The SIG's going to have issues. The GD is going to have issues. They're all going to have issues when they go into service. It's just going to be a matter of getting everybody trained and figuring all that out, which this testing is trying to figure that out. But once you have a platform in Arsenal for 10, 15, 20 years, you may never discover everything until you're that far into it. So, and there's going to be a lot of things when it hits when it starts hitting your main units that they're not going to discover in testing. That's just how things work. But I mean, my hat's in there for Vortex and Sig. That's just me.
Yeah, I was going to say the same. I'm really for the SIG and the Vortex optic, only because I've worked, like I said, I've worked with all three companies. I've worked with some stuff from General Dynamics and Textron and SIG. I know what the Army likes, what they don't like. I definitely see, like Mitchell was talking about, for the SIG, the crossover from pushing out the M4 M16 and moving up to the SIG will be a lot easier compared to the other two weapon systems, and I can foresee that the Army is definitely going to like that, because we have pushed this platform to its limit. I mean, of course, everybody can say, "Well, we can get different barrel lengths. You can, different ammo, different this, different that." Well, guess what, dude? We've been doing this since Vietnam, and this rifle has basically reached the end of its life. I'm not saying it's a bad rifle. It's an awesome rifle, but considering the way it works, and then moving over to the SIG, the layout, it's a lot easier for gunfighters to move to this compared to the other two systems. Now, just imagine if you're an infantry soldier, you've only been in for like a year or two, but you're like really used to your M4, then all of a sudden they throw something at you like the General Dynamics bullpup design, and everything's just different. First of all, Private Joe Snuffy's going to lose half that shit in the field when he takes it apart. So I know we got all of our older guys that have been in for a while. They can work with the new SIG easier because some of the stuff is kind of the same as they are, and they can work with that better. And it goes back to training too. I know a lot of gunfighters are out there that they've worked with M4s, M16s, the SCAR. Everybody thinks the SCAR is super cool, but a bunch of my buds, they just did not like it. They went back to the M4 or the Mark 18, which is the little version. Super awesome rifle, but at the same time, I think the SIG is going to be a step in the right direction. I think it's the way the Army should go, and probably will go. But I can't really speak much on the optics because I haven't used either of them. I've never worked with Harris before, or I've worked with Vortex, but not in the military aspect. It's only on the civilian side that I've used Vortex optics. So we shall see how they go there. I know SIG makes good suppressors, and I know that's the way the military's wanting to go. I haven't worked with any suppressors from the other two applicants, but like I said, man, I really think it's SIG that's going to get it. It has all the chips in its favor.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a crazy design or anything, so
it definitely looks far more along in its development with that L3 Loophole combo down there.
yes.
But I mean, not knocking L3 or Loophole because they're both great companies. I've used because I've used Loopholes for a long time. I had one with Europe for a long time. I loved it. I've shot one of the old, I think it was the Mark IV LRTs. But like they're really, really good. Vortex is also really good. I don't have as much experience on those as I do Loopholes, but a lot of guys, and I've been hearing this through the grapevine. I'm not going to reveal my sources, but like the Vortex 1 to 10 that's come out now, like a lot of guys are starting to pick it up and take it overseas. Like it's a red dot when you need it because it's almost it is damn near a true 1 power. And then when you got to take that shot, that's 500-600 yards, you can crank that bitch up to 10, and there you go. Or if you need to PID somebody, which that's another misconception that a lot of people have. That everybody thinks you need, especially if you don't do a lot of long range shooting, everybody thinks you need all the magnification to even see out that far. But no, what you need that magnification for, you need that and good glass quality to be able to see your target, identify it, and then make your shot. Because most of the time when you're shooting, like especially when you're shooting steel or something like that, like I may be making a shot at 800-900 yards. I mean, granted, like this is a 5 to 25 power scope, but I may never break 15, 18 power. Like I don't ever need more than that.
I will because I'm fucking blind.
Yeah, this motherfucker can't even see that camera. But but yeah, so like an 8 power scope like that, that's more than the infantryman has now. I mean, that's not a bad idea. I mean, I definitely can see a lot of people making a common, or I can see this becoming common, is people buying like an offset mount and then mounting like a little micro aim point or something off at 45, because sometimes you may have it up, going through mount terrain or something, and you have it up at like 4 or 5 because you were taking a shot off the rooftop. Now you're going down the building, going between alleyways. Up, you forgot to drop it back down to 1. So now but you got a guy, like 10 yards away, pop it up with the red dot. That's just how it be. So, yeah. I mean, well, one of us will release an update when they finally do the down selection, and keep y'all updated with that. And then once the pre-orders, because Sega's already said that the MCX Spear will be released to the public. So once pre-orders go, we get a pre-order. It's coming to us. We're gonna shoot it because I want to see how that Fury round does out of a gas gun, because I know it's doing really good out of a bolt gun, but it's supposedly got, I think it's between a 6.5 and a 308 ballistically, as far as wind drift and drop. But and I think it's supposed to be right there in between the two, as far as energy. I have to look at the ballistic charts again, but I think it'll be good. And the other thing, because a lot of people you might be sitting there thinking, well, why not just go with the 6.5 then? Well, 6.5, it'll wear a barrel out. It'll wear it out quick. 6.7, or not a 6.7, a 6.8, it won't do it quite as quick. I mean, granted, they're gonna chrome line the barrels anyways, so you might have a barrel that would normally have a life of about 1,000, 1,100 rounds, and now have like 10,000 round life. So that's just part of it. So, but yeah, stay tuned. We'll do another episode on this. We'll drop another episode every Friday like we've been doing.
Yep.
And we'll keep y'all updated on our various projects we got going on. This weekend? No, not this weekend. Next weekend. I'm finally getting my bike moved over to the house, and I do a quick video on that of what all's got to be done to it. Because I don't know if y'all know this, but about a year after I bought it, somebody in downtown fucking backed over it and fucked up my front end, so I got to get that done. It don't look that bad when you're looking at it, but it wouldn't pass a DOT inspection. Excuse me. I've been talking about DOD a lot.
Yeah.
So I just got to get that fixed, and then fix a couple of like replace the headlight mounts and stuff like that, and the headlights. And then eventually, I'm probably going to change the color, because when I bought it, it was Yamaha calls it the Raven Edition, where it's all black with the red highlights around it, which looks great. Which I'm probably going to keep the same color, but I'm going to do stuff a little bit differently on. I'm probably going to do new fairings and all that. But then this mini truck is trying to get parts in.
Yes, a lot of parts coming in. I know I've been spamming the hell out of you guys with update videos, and I get it, but I'm super excited about it because I've had this truck since I was a kid. So more parts are coming in, more parts are being ordered. It's going to get together here soon. Also, after the rest of the parts come in, I have a few other projects that are coming in that are not vehicle related, they're gun related. So when those get in, it can be related to this, yes. Whenever those get in, we will be going a bit in depth into those, talking about the build and the quality of different stuff. So we're going to work with that. Just trying to change things up, next big video, excuse me, we're going to try to mix it up. I know we've been kind of leaning real heavy towards gunning cars here lately, so I think next we're going to try to do some cigars and booze. Matter of fact, what were we drinking tonight?
We mixed a little tonight, so we drinking the only liquor I got in the house. So don't judge me too much, but it's Bombay London Dry Gin, and we just mix it with a little bit of Coke.
Yeah.
Just kind of because he's got to drive later, and
Yeah.
we both got to work in the morning, so we ain't trying to get hammered. But yeah, it's a sweeter gin. It's actually one of the few that I enjoy drinking straight. I do enjoy gin and tonics every once in a while. When I'm just doing G&Ts, it's usually just like Beefeater London Dry. But Bombay's a good mixer because I get this one because the old lady likes to mix it with sweet tea for whatever fucking reason. I don't know. It don't taste good to me. But she likes that, and then I can just drink it however I want. And there's another gin that I really like. I just gotta find a bottle of it. It's called I don't know if it's pronounced Bulrush or Bulrush. It's spelled Bulrush, but it's I'm not saying super sweet, but it's a very citrusy gin, and that's probably my personal favorite gin. I drink that straight all the time. It's just so good. Which I got a funny story. Not the first time I had gin and tonics, but we'll save that for the next podcast when we're doing when we're actually going in depth in the booze because it's pretty funny. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. We're gonna have more put out there. If you can, please like and share. I'm putting an emphasis on share because we want to try and get this out to as many people as possible. If you know anybody that you think enjoy it, share it with them. The bigger the audience, the better. We're doing this, number one, because we like talking about this stuff and we like getting together and doing this. And two, we know there's a lot of you guys out there who enjoy this kind of stuff too, and we want to bring it to you guys. Because, we can sit in a room and talk to each other all day about the same things over and over, but it's more enjoyable when we have someone to talk to that's just, not just us.
Yeah.
So yeah, go like us, or not like us. Go subscribe to us on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up over there if you like it. Thumbs down if you don't. That's fine. We ain't here to please everybody.
And please leave feedback. Please leave feedback.
Comments are always good.
Yes.
I'm never gonna turn them down. I don't care how loud you get. We ain't gonna moderate it.
Nope.
So yeah, just and our Facebook page. Give it a like. That's where you'll find most of our updates. Now, I'm also looking into trying to get us into BitChute, trying to kind of push it out to multiple different platforms so we're not centralized. So if anything ever happens to YouTube, we got another platform we can go to. Because BitChute seems to be growing pretty good. You're not going to find a lot of mainstream places on there as much, but they've grown tremendously this year. Now, I mean tremendously like Trump says tremendously. but 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 another good thing that they have going for them is that they have their app on the phone, which gives you all the features that like YouTube Premium does, but you don't pay for it. So you can have the video playing, and it could be like just this podcast. You don't necessarily want to watch the video, but you kind of want to listen. So you can be, have the video playing, lock your screen on your phone, and it'll still keep playing the audio. You don't have to worry about it. Unlike with YouTube, if you don't have premium, you play it, you hit the lock button, then your sound cuts out. So you have to pay to actually have the sound playing. So that's one of the reasons I like it. I'll work on getting us an account there, and you can start, following us there. And we'll probably try and start doing like YouTube exclusive stuff and BitChute exclusive stuff. But we'll see about that. But anyways, yeah. You got anything else?
I'm just gonna plug my business real quick. Lasser Precision LLC, LASSETER Precision. You know how to spell that. Check me out on Facebook. I do most of my business through Facebook. Funny enough, being that it's a firearms manufacturer. Me and Mitchell's got some stuff in the works. I've been trying to stay ahead of the curve in the industry right now, so like getting stuff that's hard to get. So if you need something that's hard to find right now, get a hold of me and I will find it, damn it. It might not be cheap, but I will find it. So please give me a look. If you stay with us this far, we greatly appreciate it. We know we get a little long-winded sometimes, but y'all are the best. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good day, good evening, and good weekend. Mitchell?
Well, I mean, I can't really say more than that. I mean, yeah, give him some business over there at Lasser Precision. Like you said, we got some stuff we're working on. I may share some screens, some of the stuff that I've been designing for it, without giving away too much. But yeah, so we got some exciting stuff coming, especially for the precision crowd. And so, yeah. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. See ya.